exam results should be used to label students? If you think so, why? Hello, my name is Eason, and today I'll be telling you all my reasons on why I think exam results should be used to label students. One reason why exam results should be used to label students is because they will get into the class they belong in. My second reason why I think exam results should be used to label students is because it could motivate them to do better. My third and last reason why I think exam results should be used to label students is because if they do really good on an exam, they can get a high-paying job. One reason why I think exam results should be used to label students is because they will get into the class they belong in. If they do really bad on a test, then they will get put into a class with the things that they are not familiar of. For example, if you do really bad on a test, then you'll go into a class that the teacher knows you're struggling with, and you'll learn a lot of things about the topic you're struggling on. My second reason why I think exam results should be used to label students is because it can motivate them to do better. If they get into a bad class, then it will motivate them to do better and study harder, since they would want to graduate with good grades to get into a good college and get a good job. My third and last reason why I think exam results should be used to label students is because if they do really good on an exam, they can get a high-paying job. If they do good on an exam, then they'll be put into a better class, which could teach them more about things that they are not familiar with. This could help them as they could pass with flying marks and get a good job like an architect or something else that has a high paying. In conclusion, I think exam results should be used to label students because they will get to the class they belong in. My second reason is because it could motivate them to do better. My third and last reason is because if they do really good on an exam, they can get a high-paying job. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Should students be judged and placed in classes based on their test grades? Although there are many advantages of placing students in classes based on their test results, I think that we shouldn't place them in classes based on their grades. Hi, my name is Amy, and I think that we shouldn't organize students based on their grades because students could get bullied, students could stress more about their grades, and finally because some students could be smart yet lazy. The first reason why I think students should not be placed in grade-specific classes is because students could get bullied. If we clearly recognize students who are above level compared to the others who have more difficulty, then the smarter students might allude that they have more power and judgment. For example, the above level students might think that they are entitled to have specialties like skipping the lunch line, skipping class, or having more trips, whereas they don't. However, this could also be flipped around. People who don't want to do their homework can easily target students since they are separated by classes and threaten them to do their work for them. Additionally, students should not be categorized based on their test results because students could stress more about their grades. If a student gets into honor classes, then that student has to maintain a good grade to stay in that class, which could stress out that student a lot. In addition, If a student doesn't get into honor classes and got into a normal class, their parents might force them to get into honor classes. However, if we did not have grade-specific classes, then more students would be happier. The last reason why I think students should not be judged and placed in classes based on their test results is because some students are smart yet lazy. Schools that place students in classes based on their grades don't always make school fun and motivating. So some students might become lazy and not get into honor classes because they don't want to do more work. For example, if a normal class gets 2 pieces of homework every night, then of course students would rather choose that than honor classes with loads of homework. In conclusion and summarization, those are the reasons why I think we shouldn't judge and place students in classes based on their test results. I believe this because students could get bullied, students could worry more about their grade, and finally because some students are smart yet lazy. What do you think? Thank you for listening to my speech.
Do you think exam results should be used to label students? Hi, my name is Claire, and I think exam results shouldn't be used to label students. The first reason why I think that is because it can stress out a student. The second reason why is because it can cause an isolation to a student's life. The third reason why is because it is not the student's true talents. The first reason why I think exam results shouldn't be used to label a student is because it can cause stress. This is because many students think they're not good enough. They can set many high expectations for themselves to reach. Many students cannot be able to do this because not everyone is perfect. Parents can also be a pressure to students too. They can see the child's bad grades and pressure them to study more, which students don't like because they like to separate their time between playing and studying. The second reason why I think exam results shouldn't be used to label a student is because it can cause an isolation to a student's life. For example, the student's friend can isolate themselves from their friend. One main cause is because of bad grades. Their friends might think that they should be friends with people who have good grades, not bad grades. The third reason why is because it doesn't show a student's real talent. Therefore, a student can be really good at basketball or another sport, but their school grades aren't that good. That is unfair because they can excel at that sport and have an opportunity to get into better schools, not just because of having bad school grades. There are many other opportunities to go to good schools because of their talent and sport. In conclusion, exam results shouldn't be used to label a student is because it causes stress. The second reason why is because it can allow isolation in the student's life. The third reason why is because it doesn't show a student's real talent. Do you think exam results should be used to label against students? Thank you for listening to my speech.
Hello, my name is Alan. Today I will talk about why teachers should not label students because of their exam scores. First, labeling can make them anxious. Second, labeling can affect other skills. Third, students may have their own strengths. These are the reasons to why teachers should not label students. First, labeling can make them anxious. This is because it may discourage them and it can be isolating for them. Second, labeling can affect their skills. For example, what if a student has a passion for sports? If they get judged because of their bad scores, they may only focus on testing skills. This can also show how they won't learn anything else. These are the reasons on why labeling can affect other skills. Third, students may have their own strengths. This is because students have their own strengths because some strengths can make them successful. This can make them successful because, for example, like the skill of engineering, they can invent stuff and even become famous. In conclusion, I think teachers should not label students because of their bad scores, because labeling can make them anxious. Labeling can affect their other skills. Students may have their own strengths. These are the reasons to why teachers should not label students. Thank you for listening to my speech.
As students, we've all been to school before, and every year we learn new stuff. Every single time we learn new stuff, teachers give us an exam at the end of the year to make a final to see what you have learned. Many people have asked, should exams be used to list students? I think yes. Hi, my name is Eric, and today I'll tell you the reasons why exams should be used to list students. My first reason why exams should be used to list students is because it makes a teacher or staff member's job easier. I say this because if all students are in the same class and they have the same thing that they know or doesn't know, the teacher will know what to do and what to skip over during lessons. My second reason why exams should be used to list students is that it makes students more motivated to work harder. If exams are used to list students, then students will be more motivated to get into a good class. If students get into a good class, they will feel accomplished, or they will feel like they achieved their goal. My third reason why exams should be used to list students is that it makes them a stronger test taker. According to Believe It or Not, it states exam finals can improve on their quiz, test, or project, and can show they are gonna be better in their next step. This shows that students will be more forward and they will know what to do in their next step when they're growing up. In conclusion, I think that exams should be used to list students. What do you think? Thank you for listening to my speech.
Hi, my name is Jinghong, and today I'll be talking about should exam label students. I think the exam should not be labeled students because if you can move to a class and the class it might be a bully class, then you will just get bullied all day and you can't even tell the teacher. And you will get a lot of pains, and you also have to pay a lot of money too. Second reason, sometimes when you get moved to another class, you might think you're a bad test taker, and you would think that you want to tell your teacher to move you to another class. You should not tell your teacher that. You should tell your teacher that I need more help so you can get better and better. And you won't get worse. Conclusion. I think exams should not label students because you might get bullied and be a bad test taker and tell the teacher that you want to move. Thank you for listening to my speech.
My name is Fiona. Today I'll be telling you whether grades should be used to label students or not. Naming a student good at or bad could damage their reputation, and it could exclude them from many clubs and groups. The first reason why I think grades shouldn't be used to label students is because it could prevent them from getting good jobs. Job hiring managers could think that person interviewing may not be useful to the job because of their grade. Their grade can affect whether they get the position or not. And even though their grades are bad, they may be helpful to the job, and the person interviewing cannot get their dream job. The second reason why I think grades shouldn't be used to label students is because they're not fully accurate. Grades could not be accurate because of false grading, or when the student doesn't try hard enough but can actually do really good in a subject. The grading can only show if the student actually listens to the teacher and learns what the teacher teaches, but it doesn't show the reality of whether the student is good at the subject or not. The last reason why I think grades shouldn't be used to label students is because it can affect the person's learning. Grades could affect a person's learning because if a person likes their subject, getting a bad grade could decrease their interest in a subject, making them fall out of interest with the subject. In conclusion, I think grades shouldn't be used to label students is because it could prevent them from getting good jobs. They're not fully accurate, and it could affect the person's interest. Thank you for listening to my speech.
I think exam results should be able to label students. Hi, my name is Lily, and today I'm going to be talking about why exam results should be able to label students. First reason is because exam results if you put students in the correct classes, then they may get better grades. Secondly, it's because that students may not get bullied for their grades. And finally, it's because that students will try harder to get into better classes. First reason, it's because that kids will get better grades. For example, if the teacher is teaching a subject, one student may think the subject is too easy, and another may think it's too hard, and both of the students won't learn anything. And if they get put into the right classes, then they will get better grades because they'll get what the teacher is teaching. Secondly, because that kids won't get bullied for their grades. For example, if the students get a bad grade, and someone may bully them for their bad grades, and if people get put into what classes they're supposed to be put in, then they may get the same grades and no one will get bullied. And finally, students may try harder to get into better classes. Finally, the example is if their friend is in a better class, they may try harder to get into their friend's class, and they may get a better career. In conclusion, I think exam results should be able to label students because if they get put into the classes they're supposed to be, they may get better grades. And secondly, it's because they won't get bullied. And finally, it's because that they may try harder to get into better classes, which will help their career. Thank you for listening to my speech.